What's going on, everyone? So it appears that StreamYard has a new system, so I apologize. There's going to be a little bit of technical difficulty. I do not know why I'm so far away. Anyways, this is my live stream for my 10-year anniversary. And see if I can figure out this new thing. There we go. Yeah, they apparently are now only having it where if you have the free plan, which of course I do, you can only show one free video, which I guess is the countdown video. So, but anyways, yeah, so this is my 10-year anniversary of being on YouTube, which it's kind of wild to think about it. I still remember 10 years ago when I finally pulled the trigger to go on YouTube. It was daunting. One of the big things I remember is that I used to be on the morning announcements at my high school, and it was a lot of fun. But for the most part, after that, I just started writing reviews, whether it was for my college paper or just my Facebook page that I still to this day have, but I don't really use as much. But I remember doing a status saying, "Hey, would you guys want to see like a video review?" And a lot of people were saying like, "Hey, why not? Give it a try." And so I did, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. And I'm glad that I stuck with it, even though I didn't even have editing software, which just goes to show how far I've come, because now I have editing software. Now I, color grade. Now I add pictures. I add, like numbers to my rankings and everything, which I didn't originally, which is one of the reasons why I want to go back and do some re-rankings. Got a couple people in the chat. Ace Blitz in the house says, "Hello, chat." Ace, good to hear from you. I hope you're doing well. Film Kid says, "Hi, how are you doing, Film Kid? I hope you're doing well as well." Yeah, and I guess one of the big things with people that are, interacting, I just wanted to say I am very much so happy that you guys are a part of my channel. And I also just wanted to inquire, like, how long you've been a part of my channel. Just wanted to get an idea, because I know there are some people that have been with me since the very beginning, and then other people that, as I've gone through the journey, they've subscribed. I know the funny part is my first 4 years on YouTube, I only had 200 subscribers, and then the pandemic happened and it skyrocketed. And then I think, let's see, August of 2019 was when I hit 200 subscribers, and then beginning of 2023, so only 4 years later, I hit 1,000 subscribers. So in the span of 4 years, I got an additional 800. So I was like, holy cow, that's awesome. Ace Blitz, feels like it's been ages since I've been on a stream. Yeah, man, you've been missed. It's good to hear from you, though. I was originally going to have Marvin Surrey, but I was like, it's an anniversary stream. But don't worry, we are the three of us planning to collaborate to do the next movie as a part of our Top 100 series, which is going to be 310 to Yuma. So stay tuned for that. I actually need to talk to Marv about that, because originally I pitched doing a live stream on Tuesday to talk about that, but he said that he was going to be seeing Superman with his dad that day. But as it turns out, he actually saw Superman yesterday with his dad, and did not go well, from what he told me. He hated Superman, from what he said. So, yeah. Angela, I have to get up at 7:45 a.m. on Sunday for this. Holy cow, I forgot that it's that early for you. That's wild. Angela, JK, congrats on 10-year anniversary, chat. Thanks, man, dude. I appreciate all your support. And yeah, I currently I'm watching. I didn't get a chance to finish it just yet, because I was doing this live stream, but I started rewatching Days of Heaven, and let's just say that my opinion has changed drastically since my first viewing 11 years ago. That's all I'm going to say. And Andrew, I also am curious, when did you find my YouTube channel, and which video was it? I know for Ace, I know the video was 6 Feet Under, but I'm curious which video was that, made you hit that subscribe button. Ace Blitz, I found your channel in March 2024. Oh, okay. So that's not too long. It's about a year and 4 months. It's not bad. And I know, 6 Feet Under was the video, which I'm very proud of that video. I mean, that's my second most viewed video, so I'm very, very happy about that. Can't Articulate, hello. Can't Articulate, good to hear from you, man. I saw that you did a rewatch of Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. We definitely have to talk about Blu-ray and 4K, because I was like, I was gonna comment on your Shaun of the Dead review to talk about physical media, but I was like, I'm assuming he's gonna be on the live stream later, so we'll talk about it then. But guys, with the whole live stream, because because how do I put this? Because StreamYard, the new version, is giving me some difficulty, I don't think I'll be able to show my video that I was originally going to show. I was going to show you guys the video that I did 10 years ago with friends, which is absolutely abysmal. It was on Sharknado. I actually think that I released that video not too long ago today. But it's terrible. But I just wanted to show you guys it because I'm like, this is what it was like 10 years ago when you collaborate with a bunch of friends that we're all kind of all over the place, but here we are all these years later, and yeah, it's not a good video, but I just think it's hilarious, and I was like, why not show you guys it? Ace Palettes, I think the first I watched was your favorite TV shows one, and then the 6 Feet Under one. Oh, okay. I am very proud of the favorite TV shows one because that was a video that I was nervous about, because I know when it comes to TV shows, everyone has a lot of different takes on what the top 10 is, which is of course natural. It is subjective, of course, but I knew my number one was something that was going to be like a hot take, so I was like, I'll just go with it. H Man the Boss 05 is in the chat. Hello there, he says. Good to hear from you, man. You are Herman, if I'm not mistaken, from Letterboxd. I know we've interacted a couple times. Good to hear from you, man. Hope you're doing well on this Saturday night. Andrew Lay, I think it was last October or November that I first joined your streams, but I've been watching your Best Picture rankings for months before then. Oh, cool. I'm glad that you've been watching those, man, because I'm very proud of those, because that journey was a lot. I mean, that was, I think, a 7-8 year journey, like trying to watch all the Best Picture winners. Not only watching all the Best Picture winners, but trying to track them down was difficult enough because some of them are very hard to find. So, yeah. Film Kid, what was that Sharknado video? That's what everyone's wondering. What was that Sharknado video? It was chaos. What originally was going to be was my one friend who has a very different editing style than me, is all I'll say. He was originally going to edit a video of me just doing a review of Sharknado. And what happened was it ended up being that some of his friends were on set and they have extreme ADHD. So they ended up getting in the frame and everything, and it just got more hectic. And so he said to me, he's like, hey, in order to salvage it, can I make it more hectic? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then he released it, and I was like, oh, no, I cannot release this on my YouTube channel. But all these years later, I have some self-awareness. So I was like, let me just release it to you guys because I think it's hilarious. Film Kid, that included some of the most out-of-pocket things. Exactly. It's insane. I should honestly add that to the movie database page so people can rate it on Letterboxd, because it is insane. Can't articulate. Yeah, my first fingers was either Oz or 6 Feet Under reviews. I'm glad, man, because honestly, when I do those TV show reviews, it's a crapshoot. Either they get 50 views or they have several thousand views. And it turns out Oz and 6 Feet Under were two that I guess nobody really watched, so nobody really reviewed. And so when you search up 6 Feet Under or Oz, mine's one of the first. So I'm happy about that. But some of the other reviews I did, I'm like, I kind of wish that more people saw, because I'm like, some of them I'm like proud of, but that's how it is with YouTube. Over the last decade, I've come to terms with it, where it's like there are some videos where it's like, how did that make more views than other videos? And then other ones where it's like, you put all this effort into it and it's like, doesn't get any views. Like, for example, my short film that I did for my little brother, so technically it was his short film, got several thousand views. I think it was like 8,000 views. And then some of my other short films, they have like 600 to 1,000. And I'm like, so those got much less than the ones that I'm not as proud of. Okay, it is what it is. And then on top of that, one that I did so much effort, like my top 10 trailers of all time, like I did so much with that one didn't get really any views. So I was like, okay, I took the loss, but it is what it is. Also, once I answer these comments, I did a post several days ago, I believe, or actually might have been a couple weeks ago. But there were some questions that you guys had. Didn't forget about them. I do have it on the tab off to the side, so I will be answering those. I'll be showcasing them to you guys. But yeah, Ace Plus, I can't believe how much I love Mr. Robot, and that's all thanks to your recommendation. Thanks, man. I appreciate you saying that. And I'll just say this to everyone that hasn't watched Mr. Robot. It is currently on Netflix now. So I would highly recommend you check it out. It's a show that go in knowing as little as possible. And I promise you, if you stick with it, if you get past season 2, you're in for an incredible ride. Season 2 gets recontextualized through season 3 and 4, and it's incredible. It really is. Film Kid, I switched my bedroom around today and moved rooms completely. Oh, wow. Honestly, it's funny you mentioned that because while I didn't move around my bedroom, what I did was my Criterion collection, my physical media collection, I switched around. So before I had it where it was all alphabetized, but I'm at the point now where I have so many Criterions where I was like, let me just put all the Criterions together. So I did that, and it took a long time, but it's pretty cool. I did a Criterion haul recently last week, and I'm planning to do part 2 next week. So that video will be coming out shortly. And yeah, let's just say I already picked up 4 movies from that Criterion haul, and I'll be picking up probably much more on Wednesday. Excuse me. H-Man, the Boss of 5, I am Herman indeed. Hope you're doing good too. Yeah, man. Have you seen anything recently? I feel like I haven't really seen you on Letterboxd recently. But yeah, man, just enjoying my Saturday. It's been a good day. Very busy day, but really good. Film Kid, why was the blooper reel in the middle of the video? Because that was my friend Andrew, and he's insane. There's a reason why that's the only video of mine that he's edited. I'll see if I can find it, but if you see some of his other videos, you can get an idea on his like just wild like Eric Andre style editing that he loves to utilize. But man, like yeah, he's something else. Excuse me. Ace Butts, I love the Sons of Anarchy review. I've never seen someone so passionately dislike something. See, that's one that I am so proud of, but I think it only has a couple hundred views. But I am hoping that somehow, some way that blows up and it gets a couple thousand views because like I am proud of that because I usually try to be as professional as possible, but reviewing that show, I had like a meltdown. And I'm not gonna lie, like I watched it again and I was like, it's pretty funny. I'm like, hopefully people see the humor in that. It's just like Yellowstone. Like Yellowstone, when I reviewed it, I was just like, I feel so depressed after just watching the show. And not in like a way where it's like, oh my goodness, I felt like I took so much from it. It was more like, wow, like I used to look at TV shows and say, I'm so great at choosing them. And then it's like I picked those 2 shows and I'm like, maybe not anymore. Maybe not. By the way, before I get to some of the other comments, let me get to the post. Let me first zoom in a little bit. All right, here we go. So the first question, well, not really a question, but the T man, I'm butchering it already. The T Rinson says, congratulations on the 10-year mark, Chad. I just want to ask if you have a blank check for budget and total creative freedom. What original stories that you cooked up the past decade would you want to make into a feature-length movie now? So to be honest, and I think I might have said this before, my dream project, and I talk about this all the time with my friends, if I ever had a big budget, and by big budget, I'm saying like $1 million or more, I would want to make Midnight Sermon, which is a movie about a pastor during the day, and at nighttime, he is a porn director. And how that idea came to be was that in high school, I didn't find out until my senior year, but apparently throughout high school, people always said that I would either be a porn director or a pastor, no in between in terms of like my life. So I was talking to my one friend, Ryan, shout out to you, Ryan. And I was just like, well, what if we did a movie about that? Where it's like, you have someone that's almost like a Breaking Bad type story where he's not able to make things meet in regards to providing for his family during the day as a pastor during the 1970s, because during the 1970s, religion wasn't at an all-time high. In fact, it was at like more of a low. It wasn't until like the 80s with Reaganomics and everything that it kind of started to boom. So the 1970s, because there wasn't as much interest, that means there probably wouldn't have been as much income. So he would have had to turn to something else, and he stumbles across, almost in like a Walter White-esque way, the porn industry. So that is my $1 million idea. Like, that's one that I'm very passionate about. And I just think that also doing it in the 1970s would be, I think, personally intriguing. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think about that. Beamer Bro 1781 says, will you ever make a top 100 favorite TV shows? No. And personally, the only reason why is because I've probably seen like 100, 150 TV shows, I would say. And I don't always remember which shows that I've watched, because sometimes it's been like such a long time since I've seen them. So that's what I mean. It took me a long enough time as it was to make a top 10. So I don't think I would make a top 100, maybe a top 25 down the line. Maybe. I do know that I've been putting off for the longest time. I do want to do like a top 10 theme songs, like TV show theme songs down the line. Title credits. I want to do something like that. What was the other one? Oh, top 10 episodes of all time. That's another one I want to do. But again, I just have so many ideas written down in regards to top 10 list that I think I'll be set for the next 10 years. But when it gets released, I don't know. Excuse me. All right, next question. This is a good one. So, Can Articulate says, what finally made you pick Mulholland Drive as your new #1 movie of all time? Would you rather watch a movie in DVD format or HD streaming format? I like both of these questions. So, to answer the first one, I'm not going to lie. When I rewatched American Beauty and Mulholland Drive last year, I came to terms with the fact that they're neck and neck, that it just depends on the day. That sometimes American Beauty is my favorite. Sometimes it's Mulholland Drive. Heck, sometimes it's There Will Be Blood. But this year, when I rewatched Mulholland Drive, it just dawned on me. I'm like, you know something? When I think of films that I would love to just showcase as to what can transcend the medium and what I personally think can change viewers, I think of Mulholland Drive, because there's a before Chad watched Mulholland Drive, and then there was an after Chad watched Mulholland Drive. Like, before I watched Mulholland Drive, I was that annoying individual that was like almost CinemaSins-esque. If you watch the channel CinemaSins, you know what I'm talking about, where I'm always like, plot hole this, plot hole that. It's annoying. It's absurd also, because it's diluting film as an art form, because film is all about putting two and two together. Coming to terms with certain things and everything. Not everything is spelled out. It's not a book. You're not writing 60 pages on why two people met and why someone traveled. You know, that's not necessarily something that matters in film. So when I watched Mulholland Drive for the first time, that was when it clicked. I had an emotional response with that film, and it clicked that it's something that is more so what you feel, and also it made me think more critically. American Beauty, I liked the first time that I saw it. I thought that it was good, and it was a film that the more I watched, the more I loved it. And again, to this day, I think it's incredible. It's my #2 favorite film of all time now. But at the same time, it's a film that I feel like, as great as it is, it's going to be a tougher sell to say to someone like, hey, watch this film. I think that it could change you, because especially since a lot of people can't, differentiate between the art and the artist. Some people would also think that the story might be creepy. I don't agree with those things, but when I just thought of my #1 all time, those were things that I was thinking about. And also, I just think with where I'm at in my life, that Mulholland Drive has the most impact. So again, I love American Beauty. That will never change, I don't think. I mean, I'm probably going to rewatch it again this year. Like, I love that film. I love it so much. And who knows, maybe I'll rewatch American Beauty and I'll say, hey, this is my favorite film. But that was just my mindset, above the clouds when I was watching Mulholland Drive. Also, to answer the other question, I love this one. Would you rather watch a movie in DVD format or HD streaming format? Honestly, DVD. DVD, when you play it specifically on like my TV, it upscales to technically HD. So that's why you see on my Letterboxd, you'll see like library DVD. You don't see a lot of times like streaming platforms. I still watch streaming, but that's only if I can't find it at the library and if I don't own it. So besides that, though, I try my best to pick DVD over HD streaming format, but I'll still watch some stuff in HD. Curious to hear your preference, though. Love the question, though. Film Kid 14 says, can't wait to see that video. Yes. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And then Bootzilla 1550, I knew this in advance that he wasn't going to be available today. He says July 12th is a great day. It just happens to be my birthday, which I wished him a happy birthday. And shout out to you, Bootzilla. I know usually you're a part of the chats, but of course it's your birthday, so I get it. All right. Now let's get back to the comments. Here we go. Ace says every season of Mr. Robot is masterful after rewatching. Absolutely agree. I'm actually overdue for a rewatch of Mr. Robot. It's been, I think, 3 or 4 years since I've last seen it, but I'm overdue. Way overdue. Film Kid watched Superman yesterday. It was technically a 3.35. I can respect that. I'm close. I gave it a 3.25. Marv had a meltdown yesterday. He hated it. He gave it like a half a star out of 5, which I think is hilarious because I remember when Alien Romulus came out, I wasn't excited for that movie in the slightest. And as some of you guys know, he said that, oh, Chad, I'm going to love the movie and you're going to hate it because you have such low expectations. I'm like, okay. And after the movie, I said, I enjoyed it. And he said, I hated it. He gave it like a negative 50 out of 5 stars. And then ironically, Superman, as big of a fan of Superman that I am, since I was 3 years old, have loved Superman. As big of a fan as I am, I was not excited for this rendition. And yet I enjoyed the movie for what it was. And Marv was super excited. He did not like it. So I just think it's funny. The Boss 05. I just watched The Last Boy Scout. Great movie by my man Tony. I remember not being a big fan of it, but I can definitely respect you liking it. And it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking about Tony Scott yesterday because I rewatched Thelma and Louise, which is directed by Ridley Scott. And I was thinking about how in the 90s, Ridley Scott and Tony Scott, they did have similar styles, which I thought was interesting because by the time you get to the 2000s, their styles differed quite a bit. So, but yeah, I can respect that. Film Kid, it was technically a 3.25 out of 5, but with the fun that I had from it, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I can respect that. I was telling Marv a lot of times, like when I'm watching a movie in theaters, like I judge it based on what it is and how much fun I had with it. For me, I enjoyed Superman, but there were aspects that I did have issues with. But, depending on if you guys want to talk spoilers, I'm not going to say anything more. Ace Blitz, when you said the Cracker Barrel thing about the music, I thought it was so funny. Thanks, man. Yeah, I've said that about a couple things, like Sons of Anarchy. I've said that about Yellowstone, Civil War. Civil War was probably where it first started, like when someone gets killed in that movie, and then it's like very sad, and then they just start playing Cracker Barrel music, and I'm just like, yeah, I think I'm not liking this movie. It just dawned on me. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm not liking this. Film Kid, do you think you can make that movie without $1 million? No, which is why I haven't made it. I feel like even though one could argue you could make it maybe with like $100,000, I wouldn't necessarily want to because as something that I forgot to mention, I actually would want to shoot it on like 16 millimeter, maybe even 35 millimeter, but preferably 16 millimeter. And shooting on film is expensive. So that's why, like my films, you guys see, I shoot digitally because it's less expensive. But shooting on film is expensive, and I just feel like you would need studio backing or at least some more funding so that way you can process it and everything. Hey, Splats, I would love to see more TV videos from you. I hope other people stand by with what you're saying because I'm not going to lie. Recently, I've been releasing quite a bit more TV show content. And it has not been doing as well as like my movie reviews or my ranking videos. And I'm just like, well, I guess the people have spoken. They just don't really want to see it as much. But I appreciate you saying that because I'll still release them, of course. I mean, I've been releasing TV show videos since the beginning of my channel. Like Fargo season 1 was my first one that I did. And I do it more so as like a way of me being able to go back and say, oh, these are my quick thoughts on it back in the day, like when I watched it. Oh, the View with Drew is in the chat. Hey, everyone, what's up? Good to hear from you, man. Hope you're doing well. I know you've been doing a lot of short films recently, so it's nice to hear from you, man. Film Kid, I'm glad that we both agree that the Shaun the Sheep movie is a masterpiece. Yes. Sergey wasn't really a fan of it, but I love it. Actually, funny enough, we were just talking about TV shows. I'm actually currently watching the Shaun the Sheep TV show. Slowly working my way through it. Like every month I'm watching usually about, I would say 8 to 15 episodes. Like they're 7 minutes a piece, but I just have to be in a certain mood for that. But it's good so far. It's a good show. If you haven't seen it yet, it's pretty good so far. I'm at season 3, episode 6, I want to say. So goal is by the end of the year to finish up. Ace Splats, the best TV intro is probably the True Detective one, and then episode is Hella Elliott for me. Both are great choices. I do love the True Detective theme song. House of Cards is up there as well. It's tough though too because there's some intros that are so short that it's like, would I include it? Like Breaking Bad, it's a great intro, but it's like 10 seconds long. Andrew Leia is back. He says, I'm back. Went out to get coffee. Don't know why my family's having steak for breakfast. What I miss. I love that. Let's see. Some of the things you missed. One of the things was I answered your question about which movie I would do, and I was saying Midnight Sermon, which is my $1 million idea. Film Kid, Andrew Leia, hi. Ace Splits, I think it's harder for TV reviews considering people have to sit through an entire show instead of a short movie. Yeah, I mean, it's not even just that. For me, also, reviewing a show is so difficult because you're condensing oftentimes 10 to 13 hours into the span of like a 5-minute video. And it's difficult because some of your thoughts might involve spoilers, and I don't really want to talk about spoilers when it comes to TV show reviews. I know some people might say, hey, if you're on season 3 or 4 of something, why not, like The Bear season 4, some people might say, oh, why didn't you talk about spoilers? And it's like, well, because some people might have stumbled across this and they might not have seen the other 3 seasons and are just kind of curious about it and they're watching it to see if it's good up to this point. So I try to think of other people when it comes to that in terms of spoilers. Film Kid, if you ever go to some film festivals with a decent studio there, you can pitch the idea to them. Yeah, that's a good point. Because I would want to make it at some point. I already have like the opening scene in mind. Like I know what I want it to be. It was heavily inspired by Uncut Gems. Not going to say it on here though. It's not exactly YouTube friendly, but rest assured, it's going to be a Chad movie. Like that's so some of my friends, that's what the coined term is, where it's a movie that is heavy in a lot of different content. We'll just say. My friends know me. Angela, hey, yeah, Film Kid, LOL. It's always good to hear from you guys. I appreciate your guys' support. Film Kid, if I were you, I would try to pitch it to more independent film studios. They would actually let you do your idea rather than the mainstream one. Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, my opening scene alone, no studio in their right mind would say, yeah, let's give this kid some money. No way. They would butcher it, especially since I would want it to be heavy on visual storytelling. I also would want it to be the cliched porn stash. Like I would want the lead character to have that. And I would want it to be shot like guerrilla style. Like I would want it to be shot at like real churches, but they don't realize it. So I almost think like Borat with how it's shot, and no licensing or anything. So I would want that because I love hearing about 1970s filmmaking where you'll hear about all these different filmmakers not having permits and just shooting stuff. Like I love it. I think it's inspirational because it's like, it's insane. It's insane to think that filmmakers did that. And it's like, now you can't really do that as much. So I would just love to do that. Ace Butts, I do appreciate you don't spoil reviews so I can watch the videos without getting spoiled. Yes, because the big popular reviewers that I'll sometimes still tune into, like Jeremy Jen and Chris Stuckman, I think that they do a good job reviewing stuff, but I think that they reveal a bit too much. Like, I think it was a year or so ago where I stopped watching the reviews at first, and I would watch the reviews after I saw the movie because they would just spoil certain things. Like Jeremy John, I know recently I watched his 28 Years Later review after I had seen the movie, and I watched his review, and half the review was him talking about the story, like certain plot points that aren't revealed until later on in the movie, and I'm like, bro, why are you doing this? Like if I wanted to have the film spoiled, like I would go on Wikipedia. That's not your job as a reviewer. Your job is to give a little bit and then talk about the filmmaking. That's what you want to talk about. Like that's you're a film critic. You're not a synopsis critic. You know what I'm saying? That's just my 2 cents. I can't stand it when people do that. H Man the Boss here 5. Do you have a favorite action director? So it's funny you mention that because I just got done editing my Gareth Evans ranking list, which will be unveiled later on next year. I would say he's probably my favorite film director just because he did, by default, he did my favorite my favorite action film of all time, which is The Raid 2. I just love his style. I think that what he brings to the action genre is honestly amazing. I know that Havoc it got trashed by a lot of people, but I still enjoyed that movie, and his style is all over that movie, and I do think it's a lot of fun. Film Kid, do you think I would like Midnight Sermon based off my taste? I think you might. That you definitely wouldn't want to watch with your parents. That's all I'll say. Andrew Lay, I think I've heard you share that movie idea before, but I remember you thought of it with the budget in mind. I think I was asking if you weren't limited by any of that. Oh, if I wasn't limited by any of that, I have a couple different ideas. Um, I mean, one of them is outrageous. One of them is I was thinking about like serial killers and specifically those like slasher ones where it's like they all kind of follow like a motif where they're just like randomly killing. And I was just thinking about it one day and I was like, what if there was a killer, like a slasher type movie, and it's someone that just like constantly stoned. Like they get stoned and then they kill people. And I'm like, that would probably be hilarious just to experience. And I'm not saying it would be hilarious to see people die, but just someone in that mindset just doing that and everything. I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of comedic potential. And I think you could do that with like a low budget, like under 100,000. You could do it. I haven't I only have the premise though. I don't have like a script written out or anything for that, but I don't know. I think there's some potential with that. Ace Blitz. I don't know if I told you, but I've seen Old Boy twice now. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember the first time I watched Old Boy. I watched it like twice in the span of a short time. It's a great film. I highly recommend. I've actually ranked all of his films. I highly recommend checking out more Park Chan Wook, the director. He's a great director, easily one of my favorites. I think you'll be in a treat with watching a lot of his stuff. Handmaiden, Decision to Leave, the other two in the Revenge trilogy that he did, great movies. Andrew, like, cool idea though. Sounds a bit PTA-ish maybe, which I love a little bit. So Boogie Nights is, as you know, one of my favorite films of all time. So I think in some ways I was kind of inspired by that, but I promise you that the opening scene of Midnight Sermon would be a lot different. That's for sure. I mean, in some ways it would be a long take, but it would be a long take of something different. That I'll just put it to you this way: the opening scene would probably have a lot of people leaving. Like this is the type of film that would have like an F cinema score, but would have a cult following down the line. I think that's all I'll say. Kind of like Mother, kind of like Solaris, like movies like those where mainstream audiences didn't like it, but more seasoned film goers appreciated it. Excuse me. I apologize about the cough. I want to say a cold like several weeks ago, and because I have an autoimmune disease, it takes a little bit longer to get rid of a cough, unfortunately. So, okay, based off what you just said about the premise of the movie, and you said it's going to be visual storytelling, I don't think this one is to watch my parents. Exactly, 100%. This is not one to watch with your parents unless they are very, 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 very open-minded. Splits, I remember you got spoiled on one of the Sons of Anarchy deaths because you watched the season ranking. Yes, it's frustrating because I understand that some people just unveil spoilers because it's like, oh, if they're looking at rankings, it means that they've probably seen it, right? And it's like, no, that doesn't always mean it. It just means that maybe they're just kind of curious to see what to expect in regards to the quality. So, it's a shame. Also, one of the annoyances that I've come to realize recently is that IMDb is a huge culprit of spoilers. So sometimes you'll go to trivia, which I like looking at because I think it's kind of cool to look at behind the scenes and gain a lot of knowledge and respect for how it was made. But there are times where there will be spoilers that aren't in the spoiler section, and it's spoiling something that's from like 5 seasons, like something that doesn't happen until 5 seasons later. And it's like, really? Come on now. Splits, if you watch Dexter Resurrection, it looks so bad, I won't lie. I did watch it. I watched it actually with my dog Dexter, and I'll just say he fell asleep probably about 25 minutes in. I think it's solid. I think that there's definitely potential, but it isn't Dexter the original, unfortunately. It's entertaining. It's solid. Like I gave both episodes a 7 out of 10, which for TV shows, a 7 out of 10 for me is like it's fine. It's definitely watchable, but it's not amazing. I'm definitely curious to see where it's going to go, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, get the director of Smiley Face and Mysterious Skin to write it. Oh, you meant write it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that'd be very interesting. I mean, I feel like it definitely would be up his alley, but yeah, I'm curious. Very curious. Angela, it's cool to go wild, but if you become a big Hollywood director, don't make Babylon and go straight to film jail. LOL, or maybe do go hard, make art. That's my thing, man. Like I talk to Marv about this like all the time. He's like, "Wouldn't you want to become like a big director?" And I was like, "No, I would rather make small indie films. I would rather get a small budget and be able to do whatever I want, as opposed to having to do a studio movie where you're playing around with $200 million, and so you're going to have 50 different people down your throat trying to spell everything out for the audience. Not about that. I don't think that there's anything artful about that. Filmmaking is a collaborative effort. I always say that. I'm currently helping one of my friends out with a short film, and I tell him all the time. I'm like, it's a collaborative effort, but at the same time, if you are trying to please everyone, you're going to end up pleasing no one. So at the end of the day, you need to make something that you're proud of and something that goes for the art form. So in terms of filmmaking, it's a visual art form. Show, don't tell. So a lot of studio movies don't really take that. They're like, it's say, don't show, right? And it's like, no, that's not it. That's a book. That's a book. Splits, the show is so overstated. It's welcome. It has, but I'll just say this. There are so many fans of Dexter. There are so many people that have stuck with it. And I'll say this, as much as I wasn't a fan of the prequel show, there are a lot of people I know personally that really dug the prequel show, but I couldn't stand it personally. I thought it was very frustrating to watch, and it's sad, honestly. Splits, what shows and movies have you been watching recently? Good question. So I'm still watching The Sopranos with my wife. I'm also watching, of course, Dexter Resurrection. What's the other one? I have a piece of paper actually that I keep track of that stuff. 1 second. 1 sec. All right. Here we go. So I started watching The Pit with my wife. She's a nurse, so it's from what she's told me so far, it's really accurate. So we're only on episode 4, but I'm liking it so far. It's good. Severance, I still need to watch season 2, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm honestly taking a break from Severance simply because I know a lot of people had to wait 3 years for season 2. So I'm like, I can wait a little bit. I still need to finish Andor. I'm only on season 2, episode 4, but I also haven't I also haven't gotten Disney Plus, so I might just have to wait for physical media. And then Alien Earth and Task are two shows I'm looking forward to watching. In terms of movies, I watched Superman. I watched Thelma Louise earlier today. Before I got on here, I started rewatching Days of Heaven. And let's just put it this way: if you guys follow me on Letterboxd, it's probably going to be a lengthy review, and it's also going to be a review about me talking about my relationship with that film, because I didn't like the film when I saw it 11 years ago, but watching it now, I'm absolutely loving it. So stay tuned for that. What else have I been watching? Watched Thelma and Louise, which was really good on rewatch. I mean, I liked it the first time. Oh, I watched Fantastic Four, the 2015 movie. Did not like it at all. I am so glad that I ended up seeing The Gift in 2015 in theaters as opposed to Fantastic Four. But yeah, I'm not excited for the new Fantastic Four. I feel like The Incredibles is the best rendition. But I also watched Scooby Doo for the first time, the 2002 one. Not a good movie. Wasn't entertained by it either. So yeah, not a fan of it. But I will be watching the second one. I have a hold on the DVD at my local library, so I'll definitely be watching it. What have you been watching though, Ace? I'm very curious. Andrew Lay, yeah, don't mess around with 200 million or more unless your name is James Cameron. Dude, that's why I know it's not $200 million, but that's why PTA's new film, One Battle After Another, the fact that he was given $130 million, I think is absolutely insane because he's not a mainstream director. So I think the film's got balls. I'll say that much. Like, it's got big balls, but I don't think it's going to do well financially, which is a shame because it's a great film. It's very timely. It's honestly gotten more timely, unfortunately, in the last 4 months since I saw it last. I'm so excited for September, though, for you guys to experience that film. Bootsell, hello, Chad. I saw your Superman review. Sounds like you liked a little more than I did, and thanks for the like. Dude, of course. I hope you're enjoying your birthday. I told everyone that it's your birthday because I know usually you're a part of these live streams. So I hope you're enjoying your birthday, man, and thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I know you gave Superman a 2.5 out of 5, which I can totally respect. And based on the things that you talked about, like I think we're on the same page. I just enjoyed it a little bit more just because of the aspects that I mentioned, but I definitely have flaws with it. And I do think that if I were to watch it a second viewing, I probably would not like it as much. But 3.25, I think, is fair for what it is. It's all right. But Man of Steel, as far as I'm concerned, is the best rendition. But, I'm sure that there are many people that want a more colorful Superman, and that's what this is. And I think it will please many people. Film kit. I'm glad though how they aren't dragging Breaking Bad universe as they are Dexter universe. Yeah, that's true. But that's also because the creator didn't mess up the series finale of Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad. Dexter was a mess. I mean, the first 4 seasons it had one creator, and then that creator bailed, and then you had a different creator with like a different vision. Everyone hated that finale except myself. And then they were like, all right, we'll fix it. We'll do a final season, New Blood. This will please everyone. And ended up making people even more divided. And then they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll do another one. But we'll also do a prequel show. So that way it makes sense as to why he's still alive. So, yeah, it's a mess. These splits. I've seen clips of Original Sin, and it didn't look good at all. It's not. I will say the acting is pretty good. But it's all right. It's not bad, but it's definitely disappointing. Excuse me. Brazil, I just finished The Pit and I loved it. Oh, I'm glad you're watching it too, man. Yeah, I'm liking it so far. It's very procedural, and I do like procedural based shows. I also give them props for as graphic as it is because it really gets you in the mindset of these characters and all the stress that they have to go through, and also because my wife is a nurse, a lot of the stories that she tells me, it's like they're coming to life on screen when I'm watching the show. So I'm able to put what she's saying into visual form. So it's awesome. Angela, all this inside Hollywood stuff is exactly why the studio and Seth Rogen need to win every Emmy this year. Love that show. Oh, I loved that show too. And I do hope that it plays big at the Emmys because it deserves to. That was such a fun show and also very insightful and accurate. A lot of the stories that they were telling was quite accurate. Like when Ron Howard was talking about that one scene and how personal it is, and that's what ended up getting it, so that way he was able to keep it. That happened. That happened to Bong Joon-ho. He had a scene that Harvey Weinstein originally wanted cut from Snowpiercer, and Bong Joon-ho lied and said that that scene was something really important to him because it reminded him of his father who had passed away, and so Harvey Weinstein was like, "All right, fine, keep it." But that didn't actually happen. Like, it wasn't actually true that it was something meaningful that represented his dad. So when I saw that scene happen in the studio, I was like, "Oh, I see what they're doing there. It's referencing that story." A split. That's why Breaking Bad is one of the goats, because it ended when it needed to. Yes, and I think that's something that I think that TV shows and films need to learn from. Like, it's okay to end. It's okay to have a beginning, middle, and end. I feel like when you milk something to death, eventually you're not going to please anyone. And that's where most franchises end up, unfortunately. When you last long enough, you're going to end up not being good, unfortunately, or you're going to have diminishing returns. We see it all the time, unfortunately. Can't articulate. I didn't even know Dexter Resurrection came out. I'm going to watch it today. I'll be curious to hear your thoughts, man. I think it's solid. I'm currently watching The Shield, Smoke, Squid Game Season 3. Oh, wow. So you're watching a lot, too. So it's funny because Squid Game, as much as I love South Korean cinema, I never really had any interest in Squid Game, but I did hear recently that David Fincher's apparently doing an American remake. And I'm not going to lie, I'll probably watch that right away. What can I say? I love David Fincher. Excuse me. Oh, David C's in the chat. David, it's good to hear from you. Should Sinners have leaned more heavily on the gangster aspect instead of veering into vampire territory? Personally, I don't think so. I think that I thought the vampire aspect was honestly really interesting, especially since it tied into the thematic richness that the film was going for from the very beginning. So I just think that the gangster aspect was more of like window dressing for the characters and also the setting. And the real meat of the story is the vampire territory, because there's a lot of death that the characters go through because of that. But I really like Sinners a lot. Ace Splits, I've been really busy recently, but when I have had time, I'm still reading that visual novel I was telling you about. It's really long, so it will take me a while. That's fair. Yeah, dude, I get it about being busy a lot recently, especially since it's summertime. So I hear you on that. Film Kid, I still have a good bit of Breaking Bad to go, but I also really want to finish Invincible, which seems like something I can get through faster. So I'm trying to debate which one I should binge through. I would say Breaking Bad, personally. Invincible is a lot of fun. I like it. But Breaking Bad's one of the greatest shows of all time, hands down. Film Kid, I started binging Breaking Bad most of the time when I watch a lot of episodes of a show. I have a burnout, and I'm at a slower point in the show right now. Oh, I'm curious. What season are you at right now? I get what you're saying, though. I'm not the fastest binge watcher either. There'll be certain shows where I am, but for the most part, I little chunks of a show I'll watch. David C. Rank the Daniel Craig Bond films. Is Spectre by far the worst one? I think Spectre is the most disappointing one, but I think the worst is Quantum of Solace, honestly. Best for me is Skyfall, then Casino Royale, then Spectre, then Quantum of Solace. I think Spectre, that was probably the most disappointing movie I've seen in theaters. And ironically, it's the 10-year anniversary this year of it. That was so sad. I'll never forget, like, just driving home from that movie, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I can't believe this is the follow-up film from Skyfall. What is this? What's your ranking, though? I'm curious, David. Film Kid, the only scene that I've seen from Original Sin is some random restaurant bathroom scene, which is corny in my opinion. Yeah, a lot of Original Sin is corny, unfortunately. David C. Are Star Wars episode 1 and 3 as a whole worse than episode 7 and 9? Oh boy. David, you're putting me on the grill today. For me, I would say so, yeah, because episodes 1 and 2 are like really, really bad. Episode 3 of Star Wars is kind of middle of the road. Episode 7 of Star Wars, it's all right. Episode 8, hot take, I think is rock solid. It's my second or third favorite Star Wars film, and Episode 9 is terrible. But I do think when you calculate it all together, I think that the average rating for me is higher for 7 to 9 than 1 to 3. I think one to three, it's not good. It's not good. And some people might say that I'm saying it because of the CGI, but I don't think that's the case. I just think that more so it's the dialogue, it's the writing. It's also just the fact that there was so much potential with that trilogy, and I think it just failed on every level. Angela, oh wow, I didn't know about the Snowpiercer story. Fun movie. B, I love the Golden Globes episode. So raw on Hollywood's fakeness. Yeah, that was a great episode. That was a really good episode. Yeah, I think the show will do well come Emmy's time. The only thing that might hold people back is that Seth Rogen. I don't know if he's earned the respect of voters in terms of that ceremony, but who knows? We'll see. Ace Splits, Breaking Bad is one of the best shows for binging. Absolutely agree. Film Kid at the very beginning of season 3. Oh, okay. So season 3 is great, but I can see what you're saying. The beginning of season 3 is like a lot of setup for elements that would occur later on in season 3, but please stick with it. You're in for a real treat. Andrew Lay, Star Wars 1 to 3 is definitely better than 7 to 9, in my opinion. David C. I don't even consider the sequel trilogy as canon. Oh wow, okay, yeah, no, I like Star Wars 8. I'm probably gonna rewatch it pretty soon, honestly. And that's a film that drastically changed for me. Like I gave that 2 out of 5 on first viewing, and it keeps going up on rewatch. Film Kit, I think the next episode I have season 3, episode 5. Oh, I remember that one being great. You're in for a treat. Let's see. H-Man, the Boss 05. Have you seen any Katana films? He has a pretty interesting style. I'm not sure, honestly. I would have to look him up to see if I have. Off the top of my head, I don't think so, unfortunately. Film Kid, you forgot No Time to Die. Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot. The one that is like 3 hours long and is very forgettable, as you see. No Time to Die, it's all right. So I guess it would go Skyfall, Casino Royale, No Time to Die, Spectre, and then Quantum of Solace. Yeah, I forgot about No Time to Die. Whoops. It's not a bad movie. It's just so overstuffed, and it just has a lot of issues. Like, I remember watching the movie, and I was like, it's better than Spectre, but Godzilla, thanks for the shout out for my birthday. Turned 51 this year. It was a good day, but not as good as last year, of course. Hey, man, another day, another year. It's awesome. I'm just glad you guys are all here. And I know earlier in the chat, I was asking people, like, what was the video that you guys first came across me? So, Godzilla, I'll ask you and anyone else that's, like, just coming into the chat, what was the video that got you into my channel, like saying, hey, I'm going to subscribe to him? And then also, what are your favorite type of videos from me? I'm very curious to hear. H-Man the Boss 05, Star Wars Episode 3 is great. Some of my friends definitely agree with you. That's an argument I have with a lot of my friends. I think it's it's whatever. I think the potential is there, but I just think execution is like, Splits, the last couple episodes of season 3 is so good. Yeah, it really is. I agree. Andrew Lee, Skyfall is my favorite spy action thriller. Rewatch it all the time. 5 stars every time. And I refuse to see it as part of a franchise. See, that's the beauty of Skyfall, is that it works not only as part of a franchise, but it works on its own. And I think that's what more franchise films should lean into, where instead of it's interconnecting with the past and the present and not being able to stand on its own, it should be able to stand on its own. And the bonus is that it's part of a franchise, in my opinion. I think that's one of the reasons why pre-MCU franchise films worked the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the MCU really had it where a lot of studios were like, well, let's first focus on the past and the present, and let's not try to just focus on making a good movie. And that's why you got something like The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Angela, happy belated birthday, Godzilla. Film Kid, my favorite episode of the entirety that I've seen is season 2, episode 8, which is called Better Call Saul, the introduction of the character. Oh yeah, that is a great episode. He's a great character. You're in for a real treat with that character over the course of Breaking Bad. Film Kid Season 3, Episode 6, the little cover poster that shows for is Hank, which it seems like he's doing something for a couple episodes. Yeah, Hank has a lot to do in Season 3. You're in, like I said, you're in for a treat, man. Bootzilla at Angela. Today is my birthday. Thanks, I appreciate it. Film Kid, if you consider live stream videos, those are my favorite from you. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I started trying to have more live streams, like I think it was a year or so ago, because I was like, something that's kind of a blind spot for me, where I would only do it in the past, where it was like, oh, I hit a milestone for me, where it's like, oh, I hit 500 subscribers or 600. But then I was like, well, why not do it more often, so that way I can interact with you guys? Because I feel like when I do my videos, I have to be more professional and not bring you guys into, like, my personal life, like my thoughts and everything. And also you get to hear my stream of consciousness discussions, because there are so many times where when I'm filming a video, I have to do so many different takes, because it's like, all right, I try to film my videos in like one take, which can be daunting. But when it comes to live streams, you guys can see my slip ups, you guys can see me saying or like, and those are things I try not to do in my normal videos, but of course I probably still do. Angela, oh cool, scratch that, belated, LOL. Bootzilla at Angela, I got a few hours left, LOL. Ace, let's be ready for Season 3, Episode 7 of Breaking Bad. This one is insane, those who know. I think that's the, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's the 1 minute episode. If so, I'm with you. Bootzilla says, my favorite videos are the rankings you do, especially the Oscars. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm planning to do, and I know it's going to take a long time, I am planning to do a re-ranking of all the Academy Award Best Picture winners. I'm thinking about having it, though, where I'm going to wait until there's 100 Best Picture winners. I feel like that's a nice even number, and I feel like it could be a lot of fun. It's also going to be a lot of rendering, though, because if I do it in one big video, I mean, my goodness, I'm not expecting everyone to watch a 10-hour video, but I feel like it would be very ambitious, so I might do it that way, or I might break it up into parts. Who knows? Angela, oh, then technically I'm already nearly 9 hours ahead of the next day. LOL. New Zealand time. Oh no, Vietnam time. My bad. Bootzilla, Best Picture Oscar ranking. I mean, yeah, I'm glad that that's one too, because that's a series that I'm in it for the long haul, man. Like, I have all my 1970s Best Picture nominees ranking videos. I have those all set up for the next year or so. So you're definitely going to be in for a treat then, because I have all those set up. In fact, if you saw like my scheduled history, it's actually kind of hilarious, because I have videos set up for all the way to 2027. So I definitely try to plan ahead. Film Kid Chat, I was honestly recommended that you get socialized. I follow Herman on it, and it is honestly a good way of keeping track of shows that you're watching, need to finish. Oh, my bad. At first, I thought you were saying I need to socialize, and I was like, I think I do a pretty good job of socializing. But I get what you're saying. It's an app. Maybe I'll do that. I know usually with TV shows I use IMDb, which can be kind of limited because it's only 1 to 10. It's not. You guys see me on Letterboxd. I do like 4.25 or like 3.25 or 3.5 or 3.75. That's not the case with Letterboxd. So I know it's kind of limiting, but I'm just kind of waiting for Letterboxd to get on the TV show train. Just fingers crossed. Splits, I do really like the live streams and the show related stuff. Thanks, man. Yeah, I know right now I'm gonna try to balance like doing live streams where it's just myself, but then also having Sergey and Marv on, because we have quite the schedule ahead of us. We're doing that top 100, collaborative effort. So there's going to be, if all goes well, there'll be 99 more live streams with that particular goal in mind. But it's just a matter of getting all our schedules together. David, have you ever seen De Palma's Casualties of War? I think it's the most underrated and saddest war film ever. I have not, but I have heard it's really good. I need to add that to the list. I like De Palma. I think he's a good director. Ace Blitz. Yep, that's the 1 minute episode. Okay. All right. So I'm glad that I had a suspicion, because that episode is pretty memorable. Splits, what Film Kid said is very true. That app is great for keeping track of shows. I use it all the time. Maybe I'll do it then. We'll see. We'll see. Film Kid, I DM'd on Instagram something about Breaking Bad that I can't sit in the chat for spoiler purposes. Oh, okay. I'll look at it later then. Splits, I'm pretty sure everyone in the chat has seen Breaking Bad. Just in case, though. I mean, I could always put the spoiler bar. Let's see if I still have it. Yeah, I could always do that right here, but that's only for if we're talking about that. That's more so for like the top 100 lists that we're doing, like Sergey, Marv, myself. But so I won't keep that there. Let's see. Okay. So it's called CLIs, not socialized. David C. What's better, Bring Her Back or Talk to Me? Ooh, that's a good question. I think personally, I would say Bring Her Back. I think that Talk to Me is good. I like it a lot, but Bring Her Back has imagery in it that I think months later I'm still thinking about. And I think that's really telling of the film. I also think the fact that it takes a premise that seems kind of cliched on paper and makes it feel very fresh is a testament to the directors and the performances. So I would say Bring Her Back. It's a really good film. I like it quite a bit. I saw it as a part of one of the AMC Scream Unscenes. It's really good. Which one's your favorite though? Have you seen both of them? A Split. That's called Serialized. Oh, okay. I was gonna say I'm familiar with it. Like I know a couple people use it. I just haven't gotten on the train just yet. H-Man, the Boss 05, F Film Kid. I didn't know you followed me. Haha. That's funny. Film Kid. Yeah, sorry, I'm using voice to text right now, and it doesn't like the spell words right. Hey, I get that. Film Kid, it's all good. I go by a different name on Letterboxd and that app, so a lot of people probably get confused. Yeah, I've always been that person where I just use my first name and last name, but it also helps that I have like a unique last name. But teaching their own. And you're like, oh no, I'd have constant decision paralysis if Letterboxd starts doing 0.25 star ratings. See, I like it because I'm able to put it like at the end of my review because there are some times where I'm like, I feel like this movie's a little bit better than 3 stars, but it's not quite 3.5. So I'm like, all right, 3.25. But when I get below 2.5, I don't do 0.25. Like I don't do 2.25, but I'll do a 2.75. I'll do a 3.25 or 3.75, but I don't play around with like 2.25. Angel A. Oh, I haven't seen Breaking Bad. Okay. Well, I'm glad that we're not talking spoilers then. Bootzilla at Andrew A. Agreed, but I still wish they had that option of 0.25. You guys already know I'd be using that a lot if they had it. These splits, I always find it so insane when people haven't seen Breaking Bad. Yeah, I mean, sometimes people just aren't even really into TV shows, so that could be why. But I do think Breaking Bad is a good segue into TV shows. I think it's what got many people involved in the TV shows. I know it was one of them for me. I mean, the main one was Fargo, but Breaking Bad definitely helped out a lot. Film Kid Herman, I'm planning on checking out Clarence. Hopefully, I enjoy it. H-Man, the Boss 05, F Film Kid, follows you on Letterboxd now. Thought I already followed you. Yeah, I like following all of you guys' stuff. Like I try to keep up with a lot of your guys' stuff, so it's cool. David C., what is your opinion of the worst film of 2025 so far? Oh boy. I think right now, I already forget the name of it. It's The Electric State. It's that Russo brothers movie, the one where it's like $200+ million, yet it looks terrible. And it is terrible. I mean, the writing is abysmal. The acting isn't good. That was a movie I struggled with. I watched it and I was just like, I'm at a loss of what's positive about this movie. And I was also just like, really? These are the directors that are doing another Avengers movie? Like, maybe we should have someone that's a bit more creative. Just a thought. I'm curious, David, what's the worst movie you've seen though this year? H-Man Boss 05, that film get nice. Hope you like it. It's pretty wild and experimental. I think I might have missed that. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, okay. So Clarence. Okay, so I have not seen Clarence. I at first thought it was a TV show that you guys were talking about. My bad. It's in Swedish, but I hope the English subs work. Maybe I'll add it to my watch list. I know when I'm done the live stream, I'll be finishing up Days of Heaven. Film Kid. I'm not into TV shows, and it takes me a lot to get through them. And I'm also very young, and I wasn't allowed to watch it for a while more, for the reasons of the show's content. That's fair. When I was younger, and I lived with my parents, I mean, I grew up in a very, very religious household. I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of TV shows. In fact, the TV shows that I did watch were much older, like from the 50s and 60s. So I get it. Splits Breaking Bad just has an insane cultural impact. It's wild. Marv hasn't seen it. Yeah, it is. He's seen The Sopranos, but he hasn't seen Breaking Bad. All right. Film Kid Chad. Normally, when I watch a movie that I know you really like, something that you've seen now, I always like your review, even if it's from 5 years ago. Thanks, man. No, I appreciate it. Honestly, I try to do that. I try to do that too. Like if I watch something, I'll usually try to go and comb through a bunch of reviews of people I follow, and I'll usually try to give someone a like, especially if I'm like, yeah, I agree with their viewpoint, or not only that, but I can see where they're coming from. So that's usually my mindset. So that's why I'll sometimes like your reviews, Bootsilla's, other people's as well. Not so much H-Man the Boss 05, not because of his reviews, but just because I don't think he really does reviews, if I recall correctly. So there's a lot of people that just use Letterboxd to like log and not review, which I can totally understand. But usually I grew up on pirated Hong Kong TV shows, which were terrible. So I'm not a big TV show guy. Getting back into it a little, but I've only checked out the recent stuff. Okay, so yeah, I would say, not to toot my own horn, but I would definitely say watch my top 10 TV show video then, because I think some of those you'll really dig. I think you'll especially like something like Hannibal. You want to talk experimental? That's one of the most experimental TV shows, or Twin Peaks. Shows like that, I think you'll really appreciate. Let's see. H-Man the Boss 05 says, Chaz Clarence is a short film that I've made. It's pretty wild. Oh, you made it. Oh, dude, that's awesome. I'll definitely have to check it out. Is a question, is it on like Letterboxd? Like, do you have like did you create a movie database page? Because that's awesome. Like I'll definitely watch it then. That's awesome. I would try to support fellow filmmakers, um, especially like short films. Film Kids, is it just me, or did you find the last 15 minutes of the Brian De Palma's Carrie very disturbing? Watched a couple days ago, and it still hasn't left my mind. Yes, but it's intentional. It's supposed to be very disturbing, and I think it's very effective. I'm not a big fan of Carrie. I've seen it twice, and both times I thought it's okay, but I do think that the finale is most effective. I would avoid the remake, though. Definitely stick with the original. Bootzilla, that would be cool if Chad's name was Clarence. He probably doesn't think so, but it's not a common name anymore. I mean, to be honest with you, Silence of the Lambs is one of my favorite films of all time. So if I was named Clarence, I would constantly be thinking about Clarice. So, but I do like the name Clarence. Like a lot of old films that I watched back in the day, the name Clarence was very, very popular. I mean, It's a Wonderful Life, Clarence the Angel. Ace Blitz, I'm actually going to head out because I'm really tired, but it was nice talking to you guys. Dude, of course. I appreciate you for tuning in. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Actually, I wanted to ask you guys, since you're part of the chat, and again, because this is a 10-year anniversary celebration of not only just me being on this app, but also you guys being a part of the journey. What are some videos that you guys would like to see? I'm very curious. More top 10 lists, more director ranking lists, more TV shows. Let me know in the comment section. Film Kid, I really want to make a short this summer since I have a very good idea. It's more just I don't know how to write it. Dude, that's fair. I would say just start, anytime you get an idea, just start writing it down. I know that's what my one friend did, and tomorrow I'm helping my one friend create a short film. And it's a lot of fun. It's great when making a short film, man, especially when you're working with friends. It's a lot of fun. Film kid. I'm also not sure if we talked about this online, but I watched your feature film chat and I liked it. Yes, Will Open Drive. Yeah, and I'm glad that you liked it a lot. I'm very proud of that film. Honestly, it took a toll on my mental health. It was a lot of work, especially like the cross cut editing scenes. That took a long time. Just even thinking about it, I'm like, wow, that was a lot. But I'm very proud of it. Yeah. H the Boston 5. It is on Letterboxd. Oh, sick. I'll try to watch it soon then. David C. Love both Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. Maybe prefer Talk to Me barely. Can't wait to see what those guys come up with next. Yeah, they're really good filmmakers, very talented, and I just think it's also inspirational considering that they started out on the very app that we're on right now, YouTube, and now they are directors working with A24. So it's really nice. It's really cool. Film kid. When I think of the name Clarence, I think of the Cartoon Network animated show. Not sure if you've heard of it, but I have fond memories watching it. I wasn't allowed to watch Cartoon Network growing up, so I actually am not familiar with it, unfortunately. But I'm sure it's a good show. I'm sure it's good. Angela, unless it's Clarence Thomas. Oh no, no, no. We do not like Clarence Thomas here. Good reference though, Andrew. Anthony A. Perez, dude. Good to hear from you, man. He says, "Congrats, bro." Anthony, always good to hear from you, man. Don't worry, I'll be messaging you back. It's been a very busy day. I did what was it? I did a 5K. I didn't go on a track or anything, but I went on the treadmill, did a 5K, and then shortly after that, I did tennis. Yes, challengers heavily inspired me to still do tennis. So I'm beat. Like I've already burned. Yeah, I burned 1,500 calories today. So yeah, I'm tired, but I was like, you know what? It's been a good day so far. Very busy though. David C. My worst of 2025 is Heart Eyes. I have not seen it. I've heard mixed things about it though, but maybe I'll avoid it. I was gonna say maybe I'll watch it, but to be honest with you, I've already seen like 8, 9 movies that could make my top 10 worst of the year. So I might slow down with some of the bad movies. H-Man the Boss 05, top 10 most badass moments in cinema. Ooh, that's a good video. I mean, a good video idea. That might be something I'll have to make. I feel like John Wick's got to be on there. Angela, what's your thoughts on reaction videos? So to be honest with you, I remember when I first started this channel, I did trailer reaction videos, like 2 of them, but I didn't show the trailer for fear of like copyright. But I think that's something that I'm kind of worried about because I remember doing a Dexter series finale reaction video and it was up for like a month, but once it got over 100 views, it got taken down. Like you can't watch it at all because I was like reacting to it. So maybe it depends on what I would be reacting to be honest, and if it's one of those things where I would have to shoot through hoops in terms of copyright. Film kid, what was wondering why? Who was our watch? Let me see. What was wondering why? Who was our watched the movie and understanding? Not sure what you mean. Film kid, the thing that I think I was most shocked of was the amount of times that you guys said the F word. Oh yeah, I mean, dude, that's one of the things is that's how most people talk, at least most people that I know. So one of the things that with Will and Drive is that I made it so that way it felt naturalistic. Like that's how my friends talk. So I was like, yeah, I want it to feel natural. So you just say how you would say it. Like I had certain lines that I wanted, but I was like, you can say it how you want it. And yeah, I think it worked. And also I just had like a I don't care type mentality of like what other people think. I was like, I want to be proud of this film, and I am. I'm very proud of it. So, yeah, it's definitely not family friendly, but most things that are artful aren't. Film Kid, when the second act started, it was just every single second, which it made sense based off the character you used most. Well, not only that, but when you look at Act 1 and 2, they're supposed to be a contrast. Like Act 1, the one character, my character, doesn't talk. And then in Act 2, the characters that you're following, they all talk a lot. So I think it's supposed to juxtapose the two. Film Kit, I'm watching Like Mike right now. I have not seen Like Mike right now. Let me know how it is, though. I'll be curious. Oh, T-Bob79 is in the chat. Good to hear from you, man. He says, congratulations, Chad. Looking forward to catching up on your Neil Blomkamp ranking. Thanks, man. I'm not going to lie. I found out earlier today I actually kind of messed up that video. So I said that it was all his feature-length films, but apparently there was one that I missed. So I'm kind of bummed out because I filmed that like a year plus ago, and I'm like, I can't believe I missed that. So it's technically not a complete ranking video, but it's a ranking video of all of the movies that people know about. I mean, this was a video. I mean, this was a movie, I should say, that I didn't even know about. So, but I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the ranking and also just seeing your ranking, honestly. David C says the most overrated film of 2025 is Warfare, in my opinion. I had no idea what was going on in the entire film. It's like they were speaking a totally different language. Your thoughts on Warfare? Honestly, my thoughts are kind of the same as yours, but that was the point of the film. Like, it's throwing you into the soldiers and how soldiers a lot of times aren't sure about things until they actually get on the ground, and how they don't follow the politics of what's going on. They follow the on the ground, like, this is the mission that we have to do. And so because you're getting thrown into it, it's like you're figuring them things out as the characters are. And it just, I don't know. I think it did a good job of putting you in the mindset of like the anxiety of what they must experience. Again, I'm not a soldier. I've never been one. I give huge props to people that are, but I did feel like it was a pretty darn good experience of what I would imagine what it is like to be a soldier on the ground. So I think it's a solid film. Like, I gave it I believe a 3.75 out of 5. Didn't love it, but I do respect it. I think it's rock solid. T-Bob79, I hope you did better than Amanda and to move at tennis today. Devastated for her today. I unfortunately don't watch tennis, but I did lose, unfortunately, to my wife. But to be fair, she was well rested. I had just done a 5K, so I was more tired. That's what I'll use my excuse as. Film Kid, sorry about that. I honestly don't remember what I was going to say, but that was not what it was. Oh, no worries, man. Meant to ask you, Film Kid, what were your thoughts on with Little Pin Drive? What was your thoughts on the third act? Because I think it gets wild. Andrew Lay, not related, but do you like the new Superman more since the actor comes from Pennsylvania as well? It didn't really matter to me, honestly. Like, I like some people that I know and I'm friends with, they mention that, they single it out in their reviews on Letterboxd, and I'm just like, I really don't care. I just think it's hilarious that it's the guy from Pearl that's like a projectionist that shows Pearl like porn. I just think it's hilarious. Like, knowing, like, when I watched Pearl, like rewatched it, I think it was like last year, I was rewatching it knowing that this is the guy that's playing Superman. I'm like, oh, it's kind of funny that he's this character in Pearl, and then he's going to be playing this wholesome goody duder in Superman. So I thought that was more funny than anything. But that's acting. Film Kit, I had a really good short film idea. Now it completely went out of my mind. I hate when that happens. That's why what HP and the Boss 05 says is correct. Write down all ideas. My phone and my notes, I have a bunch of ideas. Some of them are fully fleshed out, some not so much. But I would say one of the big things I always recommend to people is when you are writing, also think about the budget in mind. I think budget's a huge thing. Like, you don't want to, it's good to be ambitious, but you don't want to be too ambitious. Like, you don't want to have it where it's like, you know what? I can only afford $5,000 to $10,000, but you know something? I really think that we should have spaceships and, aliens. It's like, no, that's kind of outside your budget range. So do something that you know you can do with what you have, or with what you can get. Film Kit, I enjoyed it, and the second act was my favorite. Then it's the third act, and my least favorite was the first act. I just wasn't into it as much. That's fair. I think that you'll appreciate, if you decide to rewatch it, I think you'll appreciate Act 1 more now that you know what's going on, because Act One it's supposed to be where you're like, what is happening? Is he being followed? Is he not? Like, what's going on here? But yeah, I can respect that though. Yeah, Act Two, like the Captain Howdy scene, I'm so proud of that. Or just the interactions with those three. I think what I'm most proud of is the fact that those three characters in Act Two, they're all my friends, but they all didn't meet each other prior. And yet by the end of the shoot, they ended up being like, I wouldn't say really good friends, but they were like friendly, like really, really friendly. So I'm just glad that that was something that you were able to see on set. And that was something that I tried to adhere to, like when I was filming it. I made a point of saying, like, hey, while I'm setting up the shots and everything, and while you guys are getting ready, talk. Not even just in your characters, just talk, get to know each other. So that way the rapport feels more natural. And I think it was a success. I thought they all did a good job together. Godzilla, I really liked Warfare. My second favorite movie of the year so far. I'm not sure how you could be confused. It's a pretty straightforward film. They were able to do surveillance, got caught up, and got and get out of there with no deaths. Oh, I think I could be wrong, but I think David means more so that you're kind of getting just like thrown into it. So there's no like exposition, which I personally like. I think it's very refreshing because a lot of war films have it where there's a bunch of exposition in the first act and then you kind of get thrown into it. So I really appreciated the different approach. T-Ball 7-9, Ansimova lost 6-0, 6-0 in the Wimbledon final. First time it's happened for over 100 years. Oh, wow. Very sad. Have you seen Eddington yet? I don't know what to think in advanced screening reviews. So I have not, but I am very much so excited for it. Like, that is a film that I'm just going to say it. I know a lot of people were most excited for like Fantastic Four, Superman this month. I would say Eddington is my most anticipated, and I am planning to see it Thursday. I already have my tickets bought. I am super pumped. It's getting divisive reviews, which honestly has me more excited. I know when people look on Rotten Tomatoes, they want to see a 90, 95. No, I want to see a 60, 65, maybe even a 50, 55. I like seeing divisiveness because honestly, it brings about discussion, and film as an art form is what discussion is all about. If we all had the same opinion, life would be dull. And I just think it's very interesting to have a film bring about so much discussion like Eddington. Who knows? I might hate it. We'll see. But just the fact that it's getting people to talk, I think is awesome. So hoping it's good. But from what I understand, it's not a film for mainstream audiences. So it's probably not going to do well financially, which is going to be a shame because that means Ari Aster might not get as much work because Bo is afraid, bombed, and I feel like Eddington probably will as well, unfortunately. HP and the Boston 5. I have 100 plus text documents with film ideas. Holy cow, that's insane. I love it though. That's awesome. Film kid. I think one of my personal favorite scenes that they don't talk about a lot when you mention it is the hallway scene when it's revealed who is in the hallway with him in Act Two. Oh yeah. I no, I do love that scene. I just try not to talk about it because it's like it's delving into spoilers, but that scene I am very proud of. And it's one that, again, not going to talk about spoilers with that, but it recontextualizes Act One. Like I said, I am very, very proud of that movie. I like to this day, I'm very proud of it. And I know people say, "Oh, you shouldn't watch your own stuff," but I do. I make it at the end of the day, I make my movies for myself. If I can't enjoy it, why would I expect you guys to? That's my thoughts. So some people might say, "Oh, it's narcissistic or egotistic." It's not. It's at the end of the day, I want to be proud of something, and so if I am, it's awesome. Angela, I'm having two finished movie ideas at the moment. The first I've been cooking up for the last 4 years. The second I've only come up with the full story last month. Oh, dude, that's awesome. You think you'll like direct them or do you just like coming up with ideas? I'm curious. Film kit. Oh, I also watched the scene in the bloopers where you got tackled and break your glasses about 50 times. I was dying laughing, dude. So it's funny you mentioned that scene because no lie, that scene I was actually referencing the other day. So One of my best friends, he was my best man at the wedding. I'm going to give him a shout out. My friend John. My friend John saw that scene in Willipin Drive, and he legit said, "Chad, you could have used like padding on the floor, right, and just kind of hide it." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." He's like, "Yeah, they do it all the time." So I'm helping my one friend Jeff with his short film, and he was going to do a similar fall, and he was going to hit the ground, and I was like, "Dude, let's put padding on the ground." And everything. He's like, "Oh, it's going to be obvious." I'm like, "No, no, no. It's all about how you shoot it." And I was like, "Watch, I'll show you." So I put the padding on the ground and we shot it. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you can't even tell." I'm like, "Yeah, exactly. Like safety first." So it's funny that you mentioned that because it was a learning experience. Like I was able to then use that knowledge that my friend John helped me with on someone else's short film. But yeah, I'm very proud of that scene, but I'm not gonna lie, that hurt a lot. Like I was hurting for weeks, if not months. In fact, I went to the doctors because of it, because it hurt that much. I mean, for crying out loud, my friend that did the tackle plays hockey. So yeah, yeah, it was a great scene though. I'm very proud of that. T Bob 79, is there a place I can watch your film? Yeah, I have an entire playlist of all my films. Let me pull it up real quick. I can put the link down below. 1 second. Let me find it. Playlists. Here we go. Sorry guys, 1 second. Just gotta find it. Here we go. Um, Sorry, 1 second. I just gotta see. All right, here we go. All right. So this should be the playlist. So these are all my short films that I've made over the years from when I was like 14, 15, which they're not good, but they were definitely a learning curve for sure. But you can progressively, hopefully, see that they've gotten better. I have, yeah, there's like 40 some videos. Some of them are just like fun videos that like my friends and I made. Marv actually has a couple short films on there. I'll just say this: he does not like Philly's Finest. I think it's utterly hilarious. I think it's a genuinely hilarious short film. But oh yeah, Film Kid said it. Yep, T Bob 79. If you're talking about Chad, and all of them are on his channel. Yep, yeah, I have the playlist down below. Beamer Bro. Oh, Beamer Bro one's in the chat. Eddington Hype. Yes, I'm so excited for it. It's going to be a very divisive film, but it's going to bring about discussion. I was thinking about it. I think it might be this year's Assassination Nation, which is a film that when it came out had divisive reviews and everything. But you know something? Love that film. I have a feeling, Eddington, that at the very least I'll enjoy how it's thought provoking. Potentially, we'll see. Butila, take that back. There were deaths, but still straightforward. Fair enough. Film Kit, I'm 100% going to try to see Eddington in theaters, and I think I've convinced my mom on it since it doesn't look much like a horror movie based off of Esther's previous work, but I need to watch Bo. Oh, yeah, Bo's Afraid. Don't watch that with your parents. That's all I'll say. Yeah, actually, that's like the one movie you don't want to watch with your parents. I would say even more so than like Rosemary's Baby or Eraserhead. Bo's Afraid's not a family friendly movie for sure. T Bob 79 cheers at Film Kid. Angela, I'm pretty sure we won't have Eddington in Vietnam. What a shame. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it has much marketability. I really don't. I think it's a film that it's tailor made to be divisive. Like that's the whole point of it. Is it's supposed to bring about discussion. H-Man the Ball so far. I found Bo Was Afraid more interesting than Midsommar and Hereditary. That's fair. For me, his films get worse. Like Hereditary, I think is a masterpiece. Midsommar, I think is like really good. And then I think Beau is Afraid, I think, is good. So I'm like, I'm hoping that it doesn't follow that trajectory where then that means Eddington will be like rock solid. I'm hoping that's not the case, but we'll see. I can definitely respect you saying Beau is Afraid is like the best of the lot. Film Kid, Midsommar is one of my favorite A24 movies and my favorite from his filmography. I know a lot of people hate it because it seems way too artistic, but I love it. Yeah, I like Midsommar quite a bit. I think it's really good. I originally gave it a 5 out of 5, but my rating does keep going down. But I'm definitely going to try to rewatch that film, especially on a little candy emoji. David C., do you enjoy 1980s Hank's comedy Big, The Money Pit, The Burbs? To be honest with you, I think the only 80s one from Tom Hanks that I've seen is Big, and I wasn't a fan of it. But to be fair, I also saw it 11 years ago, so I need to watch The Money Pit. I need to watch The Burbs. What's your favorite, though? I'm very curious. H-Man the Boss 05. When it comes to my film ideas, I would say 90% is not that great. Oh, don't be so hard on yourself. Film Kid. I also found it funny how throughout the movie there was a car that had a whole bunch of like Cuphead memorabilia in it. Yes. It's funny you mentioned that because that was. I'll talk about that another time, but it's another time. Film Kid. I've also been really locked in on the machine. The GTA 5 story mode. It's genuinely engaging. The characters are very fun to follow. You just have to dedicate the plane since it's 69 mission. Oh, interesting. And each mission takes about 15 minutes to complete, depending on how fast you can get through it. Makes sense. David C., what is the worst Scorsese film? Mine is Bringing Out the Dead. Oh, I liked Bringing Out the Dead. I didn't love it, but I thought that was solid. I don't remember off the top of my head what his worst is. It might have been the musical that he did, but I can't remember, to be honest with you. I did a ranking of his work like 6 years ago, but I forget what his worst was. I remember what my favorite is, though. Good question, though. Good question. Film Kid. I watched Philly's Finest. I gave it 2 stars with a heart. It was hilarious. I appreciate you saying that because Marv would enjoy you saying that. Yeah, I think that film is hilarious. I think it's also funny that we survived because we filmed it on 9/11 and I almost got shot. Fun fact about that film. So, yeah. Good times, but not good times. H1 the Boss 05. Condon is Scorsese's worst, in my opinion, at least his most boring. I thought that one was solid from what I remember, but I've only seen it once. I was doing like a binge of Scorsese's work, and that was one that I was like, it's solid. It has artistic merits, like Philip Glass's score or the cinematography, but it's not really one that I remember, unfortunately. In the moment, though, I thought it was solid. Oh, this I love. H-Man the Boss 05 says, I watched both with my parents, LMAO. Hey, everybody's parents are different. I was just saying for Film Kid, because I know what, based on what he said about his parents, it doesn't seem like a film that he would want to watch with his parents. But, I mean, look, when I have kids, I would want to show them Beau is Afraid. I think it would be hilarious to show it to them. Film Kid, wait, is Beau is Afraid worse than Midsommar and Hereditary? Well, I mean, it's still good. Like, I think I gave it a 4 or 4.25 out of 5. Like, it's still good. But in terms of, like, content, yeah, I would say so. H1 the Boston 5 says, we all enjoyed it, though. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good bonding experience film, I will say. Angel, like, oh, the movie ideas I have keep playing in my mind like actual movies, and I guess I have to direct them because there's a lot of visual storytelling. My man, I love hearing that. Visual storytelling. It's what film is all about. T-Bob79 says, I do really like Midsommar, but it is a bit overlong. I would agree with that. I watched The Wicker Man director's cut the other night, and it's over an hour quicker. I do like Ari Aster's film, though. Always interesting. Very fair. I've only seen The Wicker Man once, and it was like 7 years ago. I remember thinking it was solid, but I do like Midsommar more. But maybe I'll watch The Wicker Man again. Angela, I need some big names in Hollywood to be my sugar daddies, though. These ideas are expensive as hell. Makes sense. Makes sense. Hey, maybe you'll be like Damien Chazelle and like make it big with like a smaller film, and then shoot your shot with like a bigger film. Film kit. I still haven't seen Rosemary's Baby, but I've been recommended it by a whole bunch of people who I'm very close to in this community. Um, it's a great film. It's a masterpiece. It's the ultimate Mother's Day film, but I I know you're more religious, so I don't know how you'll feel about Rosemary's Baby. That's all I'll say. It's a great movie, though. It's fantastic, and it gets better each time. And I try to watch it every Mother's Day now. Film Kid, I've seen 9 Scorsese movies, and Mean Street is the worst one, but I wasn't fully locked in while watching it, so it might be better on rewatch. Yeah, I think that was the case with me. Mean Streets, I remember thinking it was solid, but maybe a rewatch will, be a better experience. We'll see. Andrew Lay, like one is a 2-part sci-fi epic, and the other is a fantasy epic. I mean, those you could possibly get off the ground. You should just lie and say it's based on IP, even though it's not. Film Kid. Oh, did I tell you that I watched Gone Girl for the first time with my dad? Interesting experience to say the least. Oh, I'm sure. Although you probably should have watched that with both your parents. That would have made it even more interesting. I'm kidding, of course, but seriously. I love that. Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies, as you know. I love that film. It's so good. I so misinterpreted it when I first saw it, but I love it. I love it. Angel, oh Lord, watching Beau is Afraid was torture to me. It's definitely not a film for everyone. Definitely not. So I get that. 100% get that. Film Kid, if I were to have a problem with Midsommar, it would be that it takes a good bit for you to actually get to the event, but I still like the build up. Yeah, I will say I've heard so many people praise the director's cut, but to be honest with you, I thought the director's cut, unfortunately, it dampened the pacing overall, I personally think. But the added scenes were good, I feel like, on their own, but I think added in, it just made it made the running time feel a bit more bloated, unfortunately. But we'll see. Film Kid. The funny thing is, my dad really likes that movie, and he says it's his favorite Fincher film. I can respect that. I go back and forth between Gone Girl and Social Network. I think they're both amazing. Boozilla Gone Girl is so good. Gets better on rewatch. 100% agree. I find new details every time that I watch that film. I mean, even just I remember, what was it? I think it was like 3 viewings ago. There was like a huge story beat that I noticed that I was like, how did I miss that? And let's see, there's 5 people in the chat. I'm going to assume all of you guys have seen Gone Girl. If you have not, check out right now, just for a couple minutes. So one thing I noticed, I think it was in 2020 or 2021 when I watched Gone Girl. One of the things I noticed was that the whole ending is this his kid or is this not? And I know some people will say, well, it doesn't really matter because he's going to be with her regardless because he wants to protect the kid and because he wants to live to conformity. Okay, cool. But I personally think what deepens that ending is the fact that it's 100% not his kid. It's 100%, what's his name? Neil Patrick Harris's character, Desmond's. It's 100% his. Because before he gets box cuttered, he finishes inside Amy. So I personally think when he did that, that means that that's her kid. I mean, like his kid. My personal opinion. Of course, we won't know unless they do a Gone Girl 2, which I hope that they don't. But my point is, it's not his kid. And so it makes it all the more sad because we know that as audience members that it's not his kid, and yet he's still sticking along with her, even though it's a very toxic relationship. So that was something I noticed, and I'm like, how did I not pick up on that before? Wild. Anyways, that's the end of Gone Girl. Spoilers. Each one the Boss 05. I rewatched Mean Streets recently, and it's really great, in my opinion. What's most interesting is you can see Scorsese really finding style. Maybe I'll rewatch it soon. I haven't seen that movie, dude, in like 7 years, something like that, something wild like that. T-Bomb 79 Boxcar Bertha is definitely Scorsese's worst movie and maybe the least fun movie Roger Corman ever produced. See, I'm not gonna lie, I actually liked Boxcar Bertha when I watched it. I don't know if I would ever rewatch it, but as a one-time viewing, I thought it was solid. Angela, I don't think I can lie about them being IPL. While the premise comes a lot from my personal experiences, you essentially write about yourself when you write anything, I guess. Well, to an extent, at least for me. If you've seen Will Open Drive, you know that's only to an extent. Film kit. I would say one of the most shocking scenes is Gone Girl is the one with Neil Patrick Harris on the bed. If anybody in the chat hasn't seen it, please don't look it up because it's a major spoiler. Yeah, I know. I just mentioned it. But it's a very impactful scene, not only because it's shocking, but also just the revelations that entail afterwards. It's a very deep film, man. I love that film. Angela, I rewatched Gone Girl a few months ago with my friends, and I was watching their reaction on that Neil Patrick Harris scene. Like I'm going bird watching. Yes, honestly, I do love seeing people's expressions like with that scene. I showed one of my friends that film, and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know, right? Like you don't expect it, but it's such a good scene." Film kid, Chad. If that's true, then you might have some explaining to do. Hopefully, you weren't writing about yourself in the future. Not at all. That's why I was saying that. That's why I was saying to Andrew, you're right about yourself to an like you write with yourself in mind to an extent. My character in Will Open Drive is not like me at all, other than maybe the depressing part. But besides that, no. But everything else was just me doing research in the incognito browser. That's all I'll say. Beamer Bro 1, I just watched the Sharknado video. That was a video. Right? It's it's so wild. I'll never forget my first couple of videos, like when I started YouTube July 12th, 2015. My first couple of videos had a couple hundred views, and I was like, oh, cool. After I did the Sharknado video, my views for a couple videos after that were like much, much lower. And I like to blame the Sharknado video because of that. Because even though it wasn't on YouTube, it was on Facebook, where a lot of the people that first subscribed to me were coming from. So, yeah. But now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, hey, I want you guys to see this. I think it's hilarious. Also, just the thumbnail that I chose, I love it. Which is actually funny because the person that's in that picture, he was like best friends with one of my best friends, but not anymore. So, yeah. Film kid, why was there so much weed PNGs in the video? It was kind of an in joke because Eric Andre would used to do that, and my friend Andrew was heavily inspired by Eric Andre. So, yeah, no, none of honestly, especially at that point in time, none of my friends were partaking in that activity. So it was just a bunch of 19-year-olds being 19-year-olds. 19? Yeah, 19. Crazy to think about that. Each Man the Boss Tier 5. Glad you finally checked out Quaidon. Absolutely unreal visually, especially the incredible sets. Yes. That might be one that I pick up on Criterion. I was just so impressed because I'm usually not a fan of anthology-based movies, but that was one that my own bias I was able to get past because I just thought that it was so good. Now, don't get me wrong, there was one or two stories that I wasn't quite as into as the others, but my goodness, visually fantastic. And at the end of the day, film is a visual medium, so it's very important. But speaking of which, I'm very curious. Is anybody in the chat going to be partaking in the Criterion Hall? I know it's already the 12th, but I'm very curious to hear you guys if you're going to be partaking in the Barnes & Noble sale that's going on. Bootzilla, off topic, we finally got a Wawa here in Indianapolis. Are you a fan? And if, what do you recommend? Oh boy. Wawa is very okay. Wawa is, I'll just be blunt. I have a Wawa within like 5-10 minutes distance from me. I rarely, if ever, go. The only times I really go to Wawa are down the shore, and it's because it's convenient. I would say if you go to Wawa, one of the sandwiches that I usually get is I'll get like a hoagie, but I customize it. So what I'll do is I'll get like grilled chicken, and then I'll get what's it called? Not hot peppers. What's it called? Banana peppers, lettuce, spinach, black pepper, a little bit of Old Bay seasoning. Trying to think what else. So that's what I'll do, and I usually get like the 6-inch one. If I'm like really hungry, I'll get like I think it's the 8-inch one or 10-inch one, and then what I'll do is I'll eat half for lunch, and then the other half for dinner. But yeah, Wawa, it's an East Coast thing, but it's not amazing. I don't think personally. It's convenient food. It's fine. It's there. It's also very pricey. Angela, looking back on both my finished and unfinished movie ideas, I slowly realize I'm drawn into writing characters who are victims of fate and perpetuate the trauma to themselves. Yeah, honestly, I think that is a fascinating concept because I think that's human in nature. Um, Humans self-project. Humans are self-destructive creatures, so it makes sense. It makes sense. Film Kid, I have an idea for a movie that I want to make feel like a fever dream. It's just not sure if I have the visual budget. I'm right there with you, man. I think that would be very fascinating. I think that it can be not only fascinating, but I think it can also be like an experience unlike any other. T-Bop 7, I wish I could get involved with their Criterion sale, but in the UK it would cost too much on shipping from the US. Or our Criterion sale means a fiver off the ones they can't get rid of. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I know that importing can be pretty expensive from what I understand. I have some friends that import from the UK and from like Australia. I usually don't just because I know it can get expensive. So I'm just like a lot of times I'm just like fingers crossed. Hopefully it gets to the United States. But yeah, I'm sorry, man. That's a shame. I'm curious about anybody else if anybody else is gonna be partaking in the Criterion Hall. Angela, I wish I could participate in the Criterion Hall, but Big Brother was watching with censorship laws. That's a shame because, yeah, you're not wrong. There are probably a lot of Criterion movies that would not pass like censorship. Imagine getting Salo or 120 Days of Sodom. Like, imagine that Criterion movie you picking up. It's like I feel like you probably would get deported. Oh wait, that's in America. My bad. Sorry, too soon. America, we done screwed up. Anyways, Film Kid, the best movie to tackle human nature, in my opinion, is A Clockwork Orange. A Clockwork Orange is a great, great film, and I would say it's definitely up there as one of my favorite films that tackles human nature. Another one that's up there is The Master. I think The Master is an incredible film, and I think it showcases how the flat arc is something that people don't talk about. A lot of times people talk about how they want to see characters change, but the reality is a lot of humans they want to change, but they end up reverting back to their old ways. It's just how it is. Some people not as much as others, but I think the Master does a great job of encapsulating that. And speaking of the Master, it's going to be at Bryn Mawr Film Institute in September and on 35 millimeter. So I'm probably going to venture out to see that because I love that film. Next one, Bootzilla. I usually participate in Criterion Hall, but I got impatient and ordered High and Low a month ago. I couldn't wait. Oh, nice, man. Dude, I own the Blu-ray, but I'm sure that the 4K looks great. So I don't know if you've seen High and Low before, but it's a great film. You're in for a treat. I'm excited to see Spike Lee's rendition, but High and Low is a great film. Film Kid, have you seen Skinamarink? Genuinely one of the most interesting and scary movies that I've seen. Yes, I actually saw it with one of my friends when it first came out in theaters, and I'm not gonna lie, both my friend and I were dozing off. I think that was something that could have worked better as like a 30-minute short film. I wasn't a big fan of it, unfortunately, but I can definitely see the appeal. It's one of those things where when I was watching, I'm like, I can see why people would love this, but I was disappointed by it personally. Like, for example, H-Man and the Boston Five says, Skinamarink was incredible. I can respect that. I can definitely see why he feels that way. T-Bob79, what is your favorite Kubrick movie? You may have done a ranking, but I can't remember, and your opinion may have changed. I did Full Metal Jacket, but there's so many classics. You are correct. I think that when I did the ranking, it was The Shining, but I also said in that ranking that it changes daily between three movies, and it's changed to where it's 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think that's, in my opinion, the definitive Kubrick film, but I also love so many of his films. Like, for example, Full Metal Jacket, I think is great. It's not my favorite, but I do think it's great. But that's another director I'm thinking about doing a re-ranking video because I feel like my rankings changed. Like when I did that ranking back in 2019, I had only seen Barry Lyndon once. I didn't watch it a second time. Watched it a second time a couple years later. Loved it. Thought it was a masterpiece. So it should be higher up on the list. And that's the funny thing. Like I get sometimes comments from people that have been on my David Lynch ranking, and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you feel this way about Inland Empire." And I'm like, dude, that was when I saw the film only once. I've seen the film like 3 more times, and I think it's a great film. It's one of my favorite films of all time now. So sometimes people forget that those videos of ranking movies that are from a long time ago. It's like people can change. They can sometimes change. Not always, but they can sometimes. Usually, I've been writing and rewriting the sci-fi idea for a while. I'm on my 8th version now, but the first, not in screenplay form, but a short novel. No visual storytelling, but I got all my ideas down. Oh, dude, that's awesome. I would love, at some point, I would love for you to see this vision come to life. It'd be, I'm sure, a good feeling, too. Angel A flows better when reading and maybe better chance of getting sold as an IP if I'm ambitious. That's also a good point. Film Kid, my favorite Kubrick movie is A Clockwork Orange, closely tied by 2001. Great choice. Great choice. Clockwork Orange is incredible. That's Clockwork Orange is one of the 3 I was talking about. It's the Shining, Clockwork Orange, and 2001: A Space Odyssey. That when I did my ranking back in 2019, it was between those 3. And I think now at this point in my life, it would go 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then probably A Clockwork Orange, then The Shining. But that's as of July 12th. All right, guys. I just wanted to say once again, I appreciate you guys for participating in this live stream. I had a great time. I want you guys to keep up, whether it's on Letterboxd or of course also on these live streams and then videos. And also I just I want to hear you guys' feedback just in general about all the stuff that I talk about my channel, because I do love seeing all the comments that you guys give. So again, I appreciate all you guys' support, whether you've been subscribed to me for 10 years or a couple days or a couple years or several months. Doesn't matter. I appreciate each and every one of you. So you guys are the best. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and here's to another 10 years. So I will talk to you guys later, and have a good weekend.